across the Atlantic to Montreal. The
Look and listen, baby. That's my philosophy. Yes, it is now.
You can never figure out what is up or what is down, what is now or what it's all about.
Your footage, but make it cinematic. Past few months, it's been kind of trending to do that cinematic look, myself included. We've all seen a few attempts that haven't gone so great. So today, let's go over how to get it done. Here's the recipe that I use to achieve it. I'm using Final Cut Pro, but you can use this with any basic editor, just using the same principles. You saw at the start a few examples. I've been doing this for a while now and across a bunch of different places. Last month I was in Long Beach, California, covering Formula Drift, IndyCar, IMSA, GT America, and
I'm my best, nobody here for me to try and press. I'd rather chase a dream than be content.
Just a side note for anyone looking to explore how to go from amateur to professional motorsports, there's a guide in my store, From Couch to the Pit Lane, for you to check out. Here's another example I put together for Meyershank Racing in IndyCar.
The Meyershank Honda leads them down the front straight. World's wait upon us, but it don't mean nothing, cause we're leaving soon. So we cool.
Okay, so let's get into it. For today's example, I've got together 3 clips here. Yeah, this is what the 3 clips looked like before. Just log footage from a Sony camera at a Formula 1 event. So this is what the end result will be, hopefully.
Officially, round 9 of the Formula 1 World Championship.
It's pretty simple, to be honest. All we're gonna do is add effect by effect on each clip, adjust each effect for each clip based on how it reacts to it. So first, I'm gonna add a quick color grade onto this, and we're kind of focusing on a yellow look here, trying to mimic that Super 8 16mm film look. So I'm not going to go into too much of the color grading side of this, but the basic principle is you bring down your midtones a hefty amount, lower the shadows a lot, and as well lower the highlights. Depending on the clip, you're going to want to bring your highlights up, but generally I'll play with the exposure and bring the highlights down. Let's just color grade all 3 clips. All right, so these first 2 clips are looking pretty good. This one is obviously way too dark, as you can see. I like to have generally everything underneath 75. This is just way too low though. So I'm gonna bring the shadows up a little bit, maybe the midtones a tiny fraction, and the highlights as well. And then I'm gonna play with the exposure, and I'll probably bring up the shadows a little bit as well. Yeah, that's looking a little bit cleaner together. So if we play that back already, it's already looking a little bit older. Obviously, that's just the color grade, first of all. So let's start playing around with some effects. Okay, so first of all, you're gonna wanna add a Gaussian blur. Again, each effect is gonna react differently to each shot. So for this one, I'm just gonna bring the horizontal in a little bit. You don't want it to be perfectly in focus, right? So nothing's 4K in that old cinematic look. And that's on purpose. So yeah, for this one, it's a little bit too much. I'm just gonna bring that down a little bit. Actually, I kind of like how much that is. So for this one, I think we're good. So yeah, it's already got a nice amount on the bottom, but let's see what else we can play with here. I think I'm gonna need a little bit more on this first clip. Okay, so I've done that. Now let's get on to the next effect, which I think is one of the most important. Let's add the glow effect. So if you look at it without the glow, I like to find that happy spot where you're not creating any overexposure blotchiness. So somewhere around like there. It doesn't need to be perfect. That's kind of the whole point. I don't know if you've actually seen any Super 8 footage, but some of the best shots and have the best feel from them are the shots that aren't in focus. So creating that feeling and look from a shot that is in focus is kind of like what you're trying to achieve here. So let's see how the glow looks on this one, just like what you feel when you're looking at it. So this one was a little bit overexposed, this one was a little bit over and under, and that's kind of like what you would get out of Super 8 shots. So let's move on to the film grain. This is obviously a very important step. So you're gonna wanna go to not iMovie grain. You see how when you go to realistic grain, it doesn't change any of the color conform? Yeah, it's gonna automatically go onto iMovie grain, I think. And that's the first thing you're gonna wanna do is change it to realistic. And you're gonna wanna play this one by eye based off how the clip reacts. Try and really get some grain on these trees here. That actually looks pretty good. Okay. This next effect, I'm pretty sure I got from Ryan Nangle's channel, so I'll leave his in the description below. Yeah, I definitely would advise this. This is something that really make or breaks the look. You can achieve a lot of the things other ways, but this is just kind of a one-stop shop method. So again, you're getting kind of a glow feature out of this. For me, these are the settings that I've found have worked the best. I like to use a tint color of orange. Really in these cinematic videos, the look that you're trying to achieve is like a yellow-orange feel anyway, especially with the addition of cinematic old titles. So there's a super nice glow there. For example, yeah, just look at the sky on this clip and then look at the white parts of the racing line here, or of the edge of the track, sorry. And yeah, that's looking really good so far. So yeah, the next step that I always like to do is add a mask. So yeah, let's play that back, see how it looks. See on the addition there, the mask that I've added is I've added a shape mask, creating that obviously hard edges except for the corners. I like to do a little bit of rounded edges on that. And then as well I add the aged film effect, but make sure you're adding it above the shape mask. So for the aged film effect, iMovie grain or realistic grain, we're gonna go realistic grain on that. Although let's see how the iMovie grain looks. It's giving you a little bit more of a yellow. So I kind of like that. I'm gonna play with the color adjust here and just kind of go for that look that I was intending to begin with. These are the settings that I've found work the best. You don't really wanna have too much dust. You don't wanna have too many hairs and things like that. It just kind of overdoes it. Really find the thing that matters the most is like the focus variance and the jitter variance. Let's see how it looks with sound added. And obviously sound is a super important part. Let's add a quick title and then we're good to go. Let's add the title Montreal, just because that's where this was shot. So yeah, I'm gonna play with the drop shadow here. Something that is really important again is the angle of that drop shadow. So the angle that we're going for is kind of like down and out. And the distance out a bit. Title for the whole start, and let's see how it looks.
Officially, round 9 of the Formula 1 World Championship.
You can use this method on iPhone clips, any sort of video footage really. It's really just remembering the principles of bring down your shadows, bring down your midtones, bring down your highlights if possible, but also at the same time creating that glow effect, but also maintaining the same principles of cinema. So for me, it's slow motion, static shots, and just less handheld movement, but more adding that jitter variance in post. Hopefully that helped. If I say subscribe, it'll help me on my YouTube side, so go ahead and do that as well. And yeah, see you in the next one.